7 major fast food chains are now closing restaurants because shocking violations have been exposed. The CDC has linked fast food outbreaks to thousands of hospitalizations in the last decade, and food safety experts warn that cross-contamination, chemical additives, and reused cooking oil are far more common than you think. How many times have you unwrapped a burger or taco, smiling at the familiar logo, never questioning what lurked behind those kitchen doors? Could that cheap, quick meal be the reason so many seniors battle heart disease, high blood pressure, or foodborne illnesses they never trace back to dinner? This isn't about rumors, it's about chains fined millions for serving expired meat, ignoring sick employees, and cutting corners that put your health last. The question is simple but terrifying if they've been caught now. How many times have they gotten away with it before This Is the Downturn report, where the truth gets personal? And today, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 fast food chains closing restaurants right now because worst violations exposed. Because the next bite you take might be the riskiest one yet. Number 1, Arby's. Have you ever noticed how Arby's likes to puff its chest out? As if it's the gentleman of fast food, it sells the dream of thick and tender slices of real meat, piled high like some kind of luxury you can afford on a regular day. Walk in with that brown bag, and it feels almost like you've treated yourself. Like you're stepping just one rung above the greasy burger crowd, but bitterly. That fancy image might just be the cheapest trick in the book, because the deeper you look, the clearer it gets that Arby's isn't handing you quality on a plate, but just a gamble, gift-wrapped with a smile. Do you really want to know what hides behind those stainless steel counters in July of 2023? Health inspectors in Louisiana found over 40 pounds of expired roast beef sitting in an Arby's cooler. Meat so spoiled it shimmered with that sickly gray film you'd expect to find in a dumpster. Not a sandwich. A manager was arrested after a customer complained about the stench, and before anyone shrugs it off as bad luck. Remember, this Arby's has been fined across multiple states for filthy kitchens, broken refrigerators, and food safety violations so blatant you'd think the FDA's rules were just suggestions for other people. You wouldn't ignore a rattling brake on your car. So why would you ignore rotting beef on your plate? The nightmare doesn't stop with old meat. A former employee confessed to Business Insider that some locations routinely thaw their meats at room temperature for hours to speed things up. Imagine slabs of roast beef sprawled out like lazy sunbathers, except instead of getting a tan, they're breeding salmonella and listeria like rabbits at a county fair. It's one thing to risk heartburn after a big dinner, but no one signs up for Russian roulette with their intestines when they just wanted a quick bite. And don't be fooled into thinking the danger is only in the germs. Bloomberg's analysis found Arby's roast beef so overloaded with sodium and nitrates that each sandwich is almost 3 times beyond what the American Heart Association considers safe. Especially for older folks already juggling high blood pressure. Every bite is like rolling dice with strokes and heart attacks, soft, warm, and spiced with a side of regret. The cruel part, you walk in for comfort and walk out holding what might as well be a quiet invitation to the emergency room. Then there's the ugly truth about how Arby's treats people. In Colorado, a viral video in 2023 showed a manager physically attacking a customer who complained about dirty food. Maybe some would call it one bad apple, but when the same rot keeps turning up, you have to wonder if the whole orchard's gone sour. A company more famous for swinging fists than washing hands. What does that tell you about its priorities? And here's where the real question comes in. Why keep playing along when you could do better for yourself? You don't need a fancy counter to eat well. Fresh Market sells roast beef, sliced fresh, daily, free from chemical-laden marinades pretending to be flavor. Grab a loaf of whole grain bread, fresh spinach, and a few thin slices of turkey or beef, and you'll have a sandwich that tastes like food, not regret. It costs less. 2. And you won't have to wonder if what you're chewing spent its morning sweating on a counter. Because let's be honest, haven't we been letting places like Arby's decide for too long that we don't deserve better? Number 2. Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box used to wear its weirdness like a badge of honor. The fast food oddball you could count on when you were bored with the same old greasy burger. The late night tacos, the curly fries, the offbeat commercials, it all felt like that slightly eccentric neighbor who might be odd but still had your back. For folks stretching every penny, grabbing a bag from Jack in the Box felt like a small win cheap, warm, and just quirky enough to feel like you were getting something better than the usual cardboard-tasting value meal. But here's the question. No one likes to ask out loud. What's the price of that trust when the same neighbor serves you food that could kill you? Because Jack in the Box didn't just break trust, it smashed it, left it in the dirt, and walked away whistling. The 1993 E. coli outbreak isn't just history, it's a ghost that still rattles chains every time someone mentions the name. Over 700 people got sick, 4 children died, and the CDC uncovered a truth so cold it still sends shivers down spines. The company ignored state regulations requiring beef to be cooked to 155 degrees Fahrenheit, choosing instead to serve burgers at a lower temperature for the sake of juiciness. Juicy for whom? Not for the families who watched their kids suffer. Not for the parents who had to plan funerals instead of birthday parties. That wasn't a mistake. It was corporate greed dressed up in a sesame seed bun. And can anyone really believe a company that chose flavor over life has truly changed at its core? If you're thinking. That was decades ago. Brace yourself, because the pattern never truly disappeared. Health inspections over the years have read like horror stories, rodents scuttling across storage rooms, mold building up inside soda machines, and raw meat stored at unsafe temperatures. Just last year in California, a location was shut down after inspectors found cockroach activity near the fryer. People love to joke about Jack in the Box tacos having mystery meat, but when roaches are crawling near your food, the punchline stops being funny real fast. And even when the food looks clean, the danger might already be cooked in. Consumer Reports revealed that many fast food chains, including Jack in the Box, rely on beef suppliers who pump cattle full of antibiotics just to keep them alive in overcrowded, filthy conditions. That overuse of antibiotics feeds into one of the biggest health threats of our time, drug-resistant bacteria. Picture this: grabbing a cheap burger today could mean antibiotics won't work for you tomorrow when you desperately need them. For older Americans with fragile immune systems, that's not some distant what if. That's a gamble you can't afford. The company's attitude hasn't exactly helped rebuild trust either. Instead of sincere accountability after the E. coli disaster, Jack in the Box decided to go with edgy humor marketing, as if a winking mascot with a plastic clown head could distract from the fact that their policies once cost children's lives. It's like watching someone tell jokes at a funeral uncomfortable, tone deaf, and downright insulting to the people who paid the ultimate price for their shortcuts. So what's the smarter move when a burger craving hits? You don't need to gamble with your health for convenience. ButcherBox offers grass-fed, antibiotic-free ground beef delivered to your door, and when you break down the cost, it's about the same as 2 or 3 fast food meals a week. Grill a patty, toast a whole grain bun, and pile on fresh tomato and lettuce. By the time you'd get through a drive-through line, you can have a burger you trust, and that's worth more than any cheap combo deal. Because after everything Jack in the Box has done, trusting them again would be like handing your house keys to a pickpocket and hoping he only takes out the trash. Number 3. Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza once sold the dream of effortless comfort, showing smiling families in commercials where laughter seemed baked right into every slice. Hot, cheesy pizza delivered to your door in under 30 minutes, it sounded like a small miracle for busy workers and tired retirees who didn't have the energy to cook or the money to eat out. For many, especially older Americans living alone, that bright red box felt like a little kindness from the world, a reminder that convenience could still taste like care. But peel back the box lid, and the story starts to smell different, because Domino's wasn't delivering care, it was delivering shortcuts, deception, and the kind of negligence that turns trust into something sour enough to choke on. The scandal that ripped away the mask hit in 2009, and the internet never forgot it. 2 employees in North Carolina filmed themselves deliberately contaminating food before sending it out for delivery. One stuffed cheese up his nose, sneezed directly on sandwiches, and laughed as he packed them in boxes for paying customers. The video went viral, racking up millions of views, and for good reason. It exposed a horrifying truth. Domino's called it an isolated incident, but the damage was done. People suddenly saw what could happen behind closed kitchen doors, where supervision seemed optional and hygiene barely crossed anyone's mind, as one customer bitterly commented at the time. "I'll never look at a pizza box the same way again." can you blame them? And if you think that was just a rogue pair of employees, the product itself tells another story. Investigations by Bloomberg and Consumer Reports pulled back the curtain on Domino's beloved cheese. That melty, stretchy mozzarella you see in their ads. Much of it isn't real mozzarella at all, but pizza cheese, a heavily processed blend bulked up with vegetable oils and stabilizers to save money. Nutrition experts have slammed this so-called cheese for its trans fat content, which spikes the risk of heart disease, a cruel risk for older customers already dealing with high cholesterol. Domino's markets their pizza as real, honest comfort food, but what they're selling is a chemical disguise pretending to be cheese. It's like painting a plastic flower and calling it a rose. The crust isn't innocent either. Foodkit's analysis revealed that just 2 slices of Domino's pizza can load you with over half the daily recommended sodium intake for an adult. For seniors or anyone with high blood pressure, that's not dinner, that's a silent health bomb waiting to go off. Yet Domino's doesn't warn you. Instead, they toss around slogans about better ingredients like a magician distracting you with one hand while hiding the trick in the other. And let's not forget the people who make those deliveries. Domino's has been hit with lawsuits accusing it of wage theft, with delivery drivers claiming they were underpaid for mileage and forced to cover gas and maintenance costs out of their own pockets for a billion-dollar corporation. Squeezing low-wage workers who are already struggling to feed their own families isn't just shameful, it's downright heartless. So what do you do when you still want that warm, cheesy comfort without gambling with your health or your conscience? Skip the delivery apps. Buy whole wheat flatbreads from Trader Joe's. Spread real marinara sauce. Add shredded mozzarella, the real kind, not processed pizza cheese, and top it with fresh vegetables or leftover chicken. 10 minutes in the oven, and you'll have a pizza that tastes like food, not regret, because after everything Domino's has shown us, trusting them again feels a lot like letting someone borrow your wallet after they've already emptied it once. Number 4. McDonald's. McDonald's has spent decades convincing America that comfort could be bought for a few crumpled dollars, selling the illusion of warm fries, juicy burgers, and nostalgia neatly tucked under those golden arches. It became the unofficial dining room for millions, a place where you could count on the same taste in every town. As if predictability itself was a kindness for older Americans stretching retirement checks. That consistency felt like security, like at least something in life wouldn't change. But how safe can consistency be when what's consistent is failure? Peel back that shiny wrapper, and the story that spills out is far less appetizing a chain that has treated public trust like a marketing gimmick and your health like collateral damage. The health scandals alone are enough to sour any appetite. In 2015, the CDC confirmed an E. coli outbreak linked to McDonald's salads that sickened dozens across multiple states. Many were hospitalized, and investigators traced the problem to contaminated lettuce and sloppy supply chain monitoring for a company that feeds close to 70 million people every single day. That's not a small oversight, it's a system-level failure, and the salads were just one chapter in a book of repeated violations. Health inspectors from coast to coast have documented rodent droppings in storage rooms, mold clinging to ice machines, and raw meat stored at temperatures that practically invite bacteria to settle in for dinner. Local news from New York to Los Angeles has shown locations temporarily shut down for infestations in kitchens, so filthy you'd wonder if the employees even eat there themselves. The ingredients themselves carry their own secrets. Remember azotocarbonamide? That's the chemical McDonald's once used in its burger buns, the same chemical found in yoga mats until public outrage forced them to pull it. The fact that it took consumer fury, not corporate ethics, to make that change speaks volumes. And don't think the rest of the menu is squeaky clean now. Nutritionists still call out McDonald's for excessive preservatives and sodium. One Big Mac alone has over 900 milligrams of sodium, nearly half of what someone with high blood pressure should consume in an entire day. Imagine eating lunch and unknowingly swallowing a slow-burning time bomb, one that ticks louder with every bite if you're already battling heart disease. But maybe the bitterest part isn't even in the food. It's in how the company treats the people who make it. McDonald's has faced multiple lawsuits accusing franchise owners of wage theft, forcing employees to work off the clock, skip legally required breaks, or cover costs out of their own pockets. Many of those workers are low-income single parents or retirees picking up part-time hours just to survive. McDonald's loves to parade itself as a family-friendly brand. But how family-friendly is a company that treats its own workers like disposable gears in a rusted machine, and if you're the type who cares about what happens before that burger hits the grill? Brace yourself. Animal welfare groups have repeatedly criticized McDonald's for sourcing chicken from suppliers notorious for cramming birds into overcrowded, filthy facilities. For those who grew up smiling at Ronald McDonald, it's a gut punch to realize that the Happy Meal is built on a supply chain that doesn't seem very happy for the animals involved. It's like finding out that Santa Claus runs a sweatshop. Suddenly the magic feels ugly. If you're craving a burger but not the baggage, skip the drive-thru. Whole Foods often sells organic, grass-fed beef patties at prices that rival a combo meal when they're on sale. Toast a whole grain bun, stack on fresh tomato slices and a handful of spinach or arugula, and in under 15 minutes you've got something that feels like food, not regret. More importantly, it's a meal you control, not one dictated by a corporation that's been cashing in on your trust for decades. Because after everything McDonald's has done, those golden arches aren't a welcoming sign anymore, they're a flashing warning, one we've been ignoring for far too long. Number 5. Subway. Subway once wrapped itself in the halo of health, parading crisp lettuce and stacks of lean meat like armor against the greasy reputation of fast food. Their commercials painted a picture of clean eating, a friendly voice whispering that choosing Subway was choosing wisdom. For those trying to tame blood pressure or cholesterol, especially older Americans counting pennies and monitoring every bite, it felt like a blessing in a paper wrapper, almost doctor approved. But peel back the green and yellow label, and that blessing curdles into betrayal. Because Subway didn't just miss its promise of health, it stomped all over it, grinning the whole way. The scandal that shredded their reputation came in 2021 when the New York Times decided to do what Subway clearly wouldn't test the truth. DNA analysis on Subway's famed tuna sandwiches found 0 traces of actual tuna. 0. Subway's excuse that the tuna was processed beyond recognition. Let that sink in, processed so much that science couldn't even find it. Paying for fresh tuna only to get an unidentifiable paste feels less like a meal and more like a practical joke. It's the kind of betrayal that stings, like a neighbor who borrows your lawnmower and returns a pile of twisted metal, shrugging as if you should be grateful, and the tuna mess. That was just the opening act. Subway's healthy bread, marketed as wholesome, was outed in 2014 for containing azotocarbonamide, the same chemical used in yoga mats and shoe soles. Public outrage forced Subway to pull it. But the bigger question remains, why was it ever there for a company that sold itself as the health-conscious alternative? Putting a plastic additive in bread isn't just careless, it's insulting. Meanwhile, the nutritional trap keeps snapping shut on customers. A single foot-long Italian BMT carries over 2,300 milligrams of sodium, the entire daily limit recommended for an adult. For seniors already living on the edge of heart problems, that sandwich isn't health food, it's a slow-motion health crisis wrapped in wax paper. And as if food safety scandals weren't enough, Subway carries moral baggage you can't scrub clean with spinach leaves. Their once beloved spokesperson, Jared Fogle, was convicted in 2015 for child exploitation and possession of child pornography. Subway claimed it knew nothing, but reports later suggested the company ignored warnings about Fogle's behavior for years. It's one thing to disappoint customers with soggy vegetables. It's another to turn a blind eye to something that vile. Even the so-called fresh ingredients have been exposed for what they are. Former employees have admitted to vegetables sitting in bins for days, meats thawed and refrozen multiple times, and cold cuts brimming with nitrates and preservatives tied to cancer risks. That Eat Fresh slogan, it's starting to sound less like a promise and more like a punchline, but you don't have to settle for this mockery of health. Making a sandwich at home can be just as easy, cheaper, and a lot safer. Aldi offers nitrate-free deli meats, fresh lettuce, and whole grain rolls that actually taste like bread, not lab experiments. Add sliced tomato, cucumber, and a touch of mustard, and you'll have a sandwich that doesn't hide behind marketing slogans. Because after everything Subway has shown us, taking a bite of their food feels like taking a bite out of trust itself, and that's one flavor no one wants. Number 6. Taco Bell. Taco Bell has always worn its mischief like a badge of honor, the go-to place when you wanted something cheap, quick, and just rebellious enough to feel like a guilty pleasure. 2 tacos and a drink for a few crumpled dollars, it was the kind of deal that felt like a small win on a bad day, especially for older folks stretching every penny. The bright purple and orange branding screamed fun, promising a burst of flavor and excitement in an otherwise dull routine. But peel back the wrapper and that playful grin turns into a smirk, because Taco Bell hasn't just let customers down, it's toyed with their trust, crumpled it up like a used napkin, and handed it back with a wink. The first real gut punch landed in 2006, when the CDC confirmed a multi-state E. coli outbreak tied to Taco Bell's shredded lettuce. At least 71 people got sick, dozens ended up in hospitals, and some were kids fighting for their lives. The investigation uncovered sloppy supply chain oversight and poor handling practices, meaning the very vegetables Taco Bell bragged about as fresh turned out to be ticking time bombs. What was supposed to be a fun taco night became a nightmare of IV drips and hospital bills. And if you think that was just bad luck, the next scandal will make you question every bite. In 2011, Taco Bell was slammed with a class action lawsuit alleging that its seasoned beef was only 35% actual beef. The rest a slurry of fillers like soy lecithin, maltodextrin, and modified cornstarch. Taco Bell settled and tweaked its recipe, but the damage was permanent. Think outside the bun quickly became a cruel joke, more like think outside the definition of meat. How do you trust a brand that once sold you a taco, barely qualifying as food? The behind-the-scenes stories don't help either. Former employees have shared horror stories online, admitting that fryer oil is often reused far past safe limits, leaving fried foods stale and loaded with harmful trans fats. Health inspectors across different states have temporarily shut down locations for violations ranging from improper refrigeration of raw ingredients to rodent infestations. Just picture ordering a chalupa and wondering whether a mouse got there first. It's the kind of mental image that kills an appetite faster than any diet plan ever could. And then there's the nutritional landmine. One Crunchwrap Supreme alone packs over 500 calories and 12 grams of saturated fat, while a combo meal can easily exceed an entire day's recommended sodium intake. For seniors managing heart conditions or high blood pressure, that's not just an unhealthy splurge, it's a direct threat. Yet Taco Bell keeps advertising itself as a fun, fast option, almost mocking the customers who still believe that slogan. But here's the thing, you don't have to settle for this gamble just to satisfy a taco craving. A safer, fresher alternative is ridiculously simple. Grab organic corn tortillas from Sprouts Farmers Market. Cook ground turkey or lean beef with real spices in your own kitchen, and top with fresh lettuce, diced tomatoes, and shredded cheese in less than 15 minutes. You'll have tacos that taste cleaner, cost less, and won't leave you wondering what's lurking in the filling. Because after everything Taco Bell has stuffed into its history, trusting them with your health is like letting a fox guard your henhouse, except this fox charges you for the privilege of eating the scraps. Number 7. Chipotle Mexican Grill. Chipotle Mexican Grill once strutted into the fast food scene draped in the armor of moral superiority, claiming to be the noble alternative in a sea of greasy shortcuts. It called itself the champion of food with integrity, throwing around words like fresh, sustainable, and responsibly sourced, as if it had been personally blessed by farmers and nutritionists alike, for people who wanted to eat something that felt cleaner without paying restaurant prices. Chipotle looked like a gift, a burrito bowl piled with beans, rice, and vegetables felt almost like the kind of meal you'd make at home. But under all that marketing shine was a history so filthy it could make you lose your appetite before the first bite. Because what Chipotle promised as integrity was nothing more than a polished sales pitch, hiding some of the worst food safety disasters in modern America. Between 2015 and 2017, Chipotle became a name whispered with dread in food safety circles. The CDC confirmed multiple outbreaks of E. coli, salmonella, and norovirus tied directly to its restaurants, sickening over 1,000 people nationwide. In one notorious norovirus incident in Boston, more than 100 employees and customers were struck down after eating contaminated food from a single location, and this wasn't a case of bad luck. In 2020, Chipotle agreed to pay a $25 million criminal fine, the largest ever in U.S. food safety history, for breaking federal health laws. Prosecutors revealed that Chipotle allowed sick employees to keep working, ignoring basic food safety protocols and effectively turning their restaurants into breeding grounds for illness. That's not an accident. That's negligence sold with a side of guacamole, and if you think those outbreaks were freak occurrences. Listen to the people who work there. Former employees have spoken out about sloppy kitchen practices, cutting boards wiped with quick rags instead of being sanitized, cooked food left sitting out during rush hours, and raw chicken juice splattering near vegetable bins. One ex-employee described prep stations where cross-contamination was practically unavoidable. Yet the company kept marketing itself as the real food hero. It's like buying a car from a salesman who swears it's brand new while quietly ignoring the brake fluid leaking onto your shoes, even if you manage to dodge the bacteria. The health halo Chipotle wears is as fake as a plastic lime wedge. Many of its burritos and bowls pack over 1,000 calories and around 2,300 milligrams of sodium, nearly the full daily limit recommended for adults. For seniors battling high blood pressure or kidney problems, that burrito bowl isn't a health choice. It's a slow-acting threat disguised as wholesome eating. Throw in the mountains of cheese and sour cream, and you might as well be eating a fast food double cheeseburger. The cruel irony, people genuinely thought they were doing something good for their bodies. And those claims of ethically sourced ingredients, watchdog groups have called out Chipotle for relying on suppliers accused of overcrowding livestock and cutting corners on animal welfare standards. The same company that made customers feel righteous about their lunch was quietly buying into the same questionable practices as everyone else. It's betrayal wrapped in foil, seasoned with hypocrisy, but you don't have to settle for that kind of gamble. A cleaner, cheaper, and safer option is as simple as making your own. Kroger's organic store brand offers affordable beans, rice, and fresh vegetables. Grill chicken with a sprinkle of cumin and chili powder. Add avocado slices, and pile everything into a bowl or tortilla. In 15 minutes, you'll have a meal that tastes fresh without the side of anxiety. Because after what Chipotle has served up in the past, trusting them with your health is like letting a magician borrow your wallet while insisting he's the most honest man in the room. Think you know what's safe to eat? Think again. Your health is worth more than convenience. Stay sharp, choose wisely, and never trust a shiny logo without questioning what's behind it.